In this demonstration, we shall be talking about how you can configure metrics monitoring for your RDS instance. So we'll switch over into the RDS management console, which is under databases. So here is RDS. So there are two ways the monitoring happens if you have an instance already running or you're trying to create it for the first time. So if you have an RDS instance running, you can modify the instance to enable monitoring. But if you don't have it running and you're trying to install it for the first time, which is what we're going to show, you can enable it during the creation process. So we're going to create a simple database, and we'll pick a database engine. There are various kind of database engines here. You have Aurora, you have MySQL, you have MariaDB, and all that. And each of these databases have their own monitoring. So we're going to just use the default here, which is Amazon Aurora, and we'll use Amazon Aurora with MySQL compatibility. Aurora supports MySQL and Postgres, and we'll use all the default configurations. What is more important here for us is to see if the performance insights configuration is active. This is you also have templates for production or dev test. We'll just go with dev test because we're not doing a production setup. And this is database identifier where we call our database. We can call it simple database. Okay. This way we configure the username and the password. We can actually auto-generate a password, or we type a password. I'm going to type a password here. Okay. Okay, all right, I think they are not the same, that's why it's showing that error. Okay, I'll type it again. All right, let's try one more time. Sorry. Yeah, for some reason it's not working out. Okay, let's just auto generate. Okay, so when we create, it's going to generate the password. The most important thing for us here is the monitoring configuration. So let's quickly scroll down there into additional configuration, and we're going to see a bunch of additional configuration here. So the first one we're going to find here, which is pertaining to monitoring, is performance insights. So we can see that performance insights enabled here by default, and configurations such as the retention time period, which is how long the information for the performance metrics will be stored, the key, which is for encrypting the information, and then we also have what we call enhanced enable monitoring. So enable enhanced monitoring, which collects more information. So it said enhanced monitoring metrics are useful when you want to see different processes or threads used in the CPU. So you can decide to enable this or disable this if you want to. And more importantly are the kind of logs that exist within the database service. So you can see the types of logs that can be published into CloudWatch. You have audit log, you have error log, you have general log, and then you have slow query logs. So we can tick as many logs we want to be written into CloudWatch logs. And then when we are done with this configuration setup, we'll be able to see all these logs in CloudWatch. For this very basic example, let's just tick the audit log so that it can send just the audit log into CloudWatch logs. When we are done with that, we're going to create a database, and the database is created after a couple of minutes. It's going to push those logs into CloudWatch. So for now, let's create a database, and it's going to take a few minutes. When it's done, we'll check CloudWatch and see the logs that it has written into CloudWatch. So now the database has been successfully created, and you can see it's available. So what are the different kind of monitoring we can check? So the first one is when I click on the database right here, on the link right here, it's going to take me to more information about the database. And right here, we can click on this monitoring tab and get the basic metrics of the database instance. All these are actually coming from CloudWatch. You can see the CloudWatch label here, and we have about 48 different metrics that we can look into. There are a lot of them. But the first one here, the most basic one here, we have is the CPU, the DB connections, the freeable memory, the write latency, and all this basic information. So From here we can actually know what's going on in terms of CPU for our instance, our RDS instance, our DB connections, and every other every other information running within the instance. Now, for more information about this database, we can then go to what we call performance insights, which we already activated when we were creating the RDS instance. So when we click on this, it will give us more insights into our database we just created. So we can see right here that performance insights goes deeper into the database, and we can have different time ranges here, 1 hour, 5 minutes, and so on and so forth. Okay, we can see it's been running for a while, and these are the average InnoDB rows that it has read for that time. Database load is pretty much empty. Top SQL is pretty much empty because this database, we just created a database, so we really will not find any much more information within it. But if this database was running for a while, an application was connecting to it, a lot of read-write operations were going on, then this place will be actually will be filled up with a lot of data and information that we can use to understand the behavior and what is going on within an RDS instance. Thank you very much.